Hey there, lovely listeners. Welcome back to another episode of the Anatomy and Physiology Revision podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ravina, and today we are going to quickly revise the bone clavicle. So let's get started. So, in last session, we have revised all names of 206 bones. We have studied the topic on macro level. We have studied the topic from a distance as we have discussed the method that we are going to follow. Now we will go into micro level. That means we will learn one bone at a time. And today we are going to revise clavicle. Clavicle is a long bone that lies horizontally and it is sigmoid shaped bone or a S shaped bone. The bone has a cylindrical part which is called as the shaft and two ends, lateral end and medial end. Lateral end is also called as acromial end and medial end is also called as sternal end. Now we will see the characteristics of these part one by one. First we will see the characteristics of the lateral 1/3 part of a shaft. The lateral 1/3 shaft is flattened from above downwards. It has two borders, anterior border and posterior border. Anterior border is concave forwards and posterior border is convex backwards. So this part has two surfaces, two borders and two surfaces. Two surfaces, superior and inferior surface. Superior surface of lateral 1/3 shaft has elevated part which is called as cunoid tubercle and it has a ridge which called as trapezoid ridge. I'll repeat again. Lateral 1/3 of a shaft has two surfaces and two borders because it is flattened in shape. So it has two surfaces and two borders. Superior surface has elevated cuboid tubercle and trapezoid ridge. Now we will learn about medial 2/3 part of a shaft. Medial 2/3 of a shaft is rounded in shape and it has four surfaces: anterior, posterior, superior and inferior. Anterior surface of medial 2/3 shaft is convex, posterior surface is smooth, superior surface is rough in its medial part, and inferior surface has a longitudinal subclavian groove. And at the lateral end of this subclavian groove, there is a nutrient foramen. Nutrient foramen is an opening in a bone which allows the blood vessel to enter in it and provides nourishment to the bone. Now we will take a look at lateral and medial ends of clavicle. Lateral end is also called as acromial end and medial end is called as sternal end. Lateral end or acromial end articulates with acromion process of scapula to form acromioclavicular joint, and medial end articulates with sternum. It articulates with the clavicular notch of the manubrium sternum to form sternoclavicular joint. So the one end of clavicle is attached to the scapula and other end is attached to sternum. Clavicle shares its relation with various muscles and ligament. It provides insertion for trapezius and origin for deltoid, pectoralis major and sternocleidomastoid. So these are muscles which are related to clavicle and also subclavius. Now to understand exact insertion and origin of a muscle, I think we first must focus on what are the total number of muscle in a body. Then we must know their names and their origin and insertion. Once you know these whole muscles like in detail from origin, insertion, then it becomes easier to relate them with a particular bone, and that's how the anatomy becomes easier. This is the method I am currently following to revise muscle and bone together. So in upcoming sessions we will revise total number of muscles, their names, origin and insertion, so that it will be easier to understand its relation with the particular bone that we are going to revise in further sessions. So this was all about muscles which are related to clavicle. Now it's time to look at a interesting fact about clavicle. The clavicle is the first bone which start to ossify in our body, and it is also known as a beauty bone. Okay, so we have revised clavicle, and in further sessions we will see other bones one by one. Till then, take care. Thank you.